Welcome to the Pavilion in Oxford, Mississippi. Today it's SEC Network men's basketball as the Ole Miss Rebels continue what they hope is a push to postseason play, entertaining the Missouri Tigers. You can make the argument over the last 10 SEC games, Rebels are the most improved team in the conference, going from 1-4 to winning 7 of their last 10 ball games and are now 8-7 in conference play. Good afternoon, I'm Matt Stewart, joined by Vandy legend Barry Booker. And Barry, Rebels averaging 88 points per game over their last 4 games. Big reason why, Terrence Davis and DeAndre Burnett.
These perimeter players, Terrence Davis, number 3, DeAndre Burnett, number 1. Excellent outside, knocking down the three-point shots. We get a good look at Burnett's versatility, getting after it on the backboards. He is a do-it-all player for the Rebels, and these two together have led the surge offensively, which has been a big part of the turnaround for Ole Miss this season.
And you see in conference games, they are 6-7 in the SEC scoring rankings in league action. Ole Miss 17-11 overall. They've won 5 of their last 7. As we mentioned, 7-3 in their last 10 conference games. Missouri at 7-20, trying to snap a 30-game SEC road losing streak dating back more than 3 years now. They start on offense in the black.
Andy Kennedy certainly doesn't want that losing streak on the road for Missouri to come to an end here at the Pavilion. Rebels trying to make a push to the NCAA tournament, needing to play well and get this W today.
And Terrence Phillips fumbles the ball out of bounds as we take a look at your Holiday Inn Express Stay Smart, Game Ready keys to the game.
The keys for Missouri, they struggle to score, so they got to knock down the three-point shots. They want to be fast going to their end of the court, but slow down Ole Miss on offense, and the Rebels don't want to encourage Missouri, get off to a fast start, and do the job on the backboards with their size and strength. Hit it with a rebounding.
And a foul is going to be called on Missouri and K.J. Walton. So the Rebels inbound and a fresh 30 to work with. Burnett, Davis, Tyree, Hyman, and Saiz on the floor for the Rebels, and a turnover for Ole Miss. Puryear, spin move, puts it in. Puryear scored 26, a game high when these two teams played a month ago. A 75-71 win for the Rebels in Columbia.
Kevin Puryear with the pirouette. Difficult shot there to float that one in, but the first shot, both teams with a turnover on their first possessions. Puryear gets the finish.
Saiz, the double machine, backing down, and a foul is going to be called on Woods. Sebastian Saiz going to be a handful for the Tigers today, Barry.
Exactly. Look at him, he's backing in. Looks like that could have been called an offensive foul with Saiz bumping Woods, trying to get closer to the basket.
Yeah, using that left shoulder to try to clear the way, but they call it the other way. We have 2 fouls already on the Tigers and 2 turnovers already on the Rebels.
Rebels yet to squeeze off a shot, and this is not the start that Andy Kennedy was looking for Ole Miss. Missouri encouraged, got the lead here early.
Woods inside. He had a double-double the last time these two teams played, his second career double-double. He knocks down his first attempt, and Missouri has a 4-0 lead.
Missouri has pretty good inside players. Russell Woods getting the finish at the other end.
Tyree, who had 24 points in their victory at Mississippi State on Tuesday, scores the first bucket for the Rebels today. And an offensive foul on Missouri. And there is Andy Kennedy, resplendent in his vest, and his daughter Megan singing the national anthem before the game today.
The dean of SEC coaches, Andy Kennedy. We were once so young. Time marches on, and the Rebels marching on, trying to finish this season in a strong way and move into the NCAA tournament.
Another turnover for the Rebels, and then a foul on the Rebels after they coughed the ball up, and Tyree's going to be whistled for the infraction.
Really tough start for Ole Miss. Andy Kennedy, you can see him getting animated on the sidelines, trying to give his club some energy. Very slow start for Ole Miss.
Well, Missouri, one of their keys, they have struggled on the road, and, Kim Anderson told us earlier today in the locker room that, one of their big problems is they'll come out, they'll spot the opponent 10 points, and then they'll start playing. That has not been the case so far today.
Very difficult to keep your team motivated, to keep your team playing hard. Kim Anderson has done a great job with that this season. Missouri having a very difficult year, but they are playing well and getting better down the stretch of the season.
Phillips, who has hit 8 3-pointers his last 2 games, misses his first attempt as the shot clock was down to 2. They go for the steal and fail. We'll have an offensive foul here on Ole Miss.
Yet another turnover for the Rebels. They have only one official field goal attempt on the game. And Terrence Davis just out of control, deciding he's going to the rim, and didn't do much to avoid that contact there. Nice job by Puryear stepping in, taking that hit.
So 4 turnovers for the Rebels in the first 3 minutes of this game. Inside the miss by Puryear, and up the floor come the Rebels.
Good pass by Woods, good offense by Missouri. They are getting quality looks.
Another foul called on Missouri. So we've had a total of 5 fouls called so far in this ballgame. There's Kim Anderson in his 3rd season as K.J. Walton just picked up his 2nd personal foul. Just 26 wins. They have not won a road game in over 3 years, and he's looking for that first road win. Nobody boxed out Davis that time, and he puts it back in. We're tied at 4.
Very difficult start for Ole Miss early, yet they still hang in there well enough to have this game tied.
Puryear launches off the front iron, and the rebound controlled by Hyman. Up the floor comes Davis. Davis goes all the way, misses the layup. Sai's had a chance at the tip in. Woods gets the rebound, and now another foul is going to be called on the Rebels, and Davis just picked up his 2nd personal foul.
Terrence Davis disappointed that he couldn't get that layup down, but just a few minutes earlier, Davis on the backside, getting the offensive board. Easy score for Ole Miss. Now Davis heading to the bench with those 2 fouls.
So it's been a poor start for Ole Miss, despite the fact they are locked in a 4-4 game about 4 minutes in. Missouri, not a good half-court offensive team. They're virtually last in all the major scoring categories, including their shooting percentages as well. Puryear, with the spin move, couldn't get it to fall. And here comes Brooks. Rasheed Brooks on the drive, and no basket. Offensive foul on Brooks. Wow, inauspicious start for the Rebels at home in a game they have to win. It's tied at 4. Four minutes in at the Pavilion, Ole Miss and Missouri tied at 4. I'm Matt Stewart, joined by the SEC's all-time three-point shooter, Barry Booker. And Barry, we started this ballgame talking about, the fast improvement by this Ole Miss team over the last 10 conference games, but can they make a late push to get into the NCAA tournament?
Well, they're off to a slow start, several turnovers so far in this ballgame, but the holy grail in college basketball, making that NCAA tournament, this team is good enough to get there.
Well, speaking of which, let's take a look at Joey Brackett's latest bracketology. That would be Joe Lunardi. He currently has 4 teams projected to make the NCAA tournament field, with Florida and Kentucky actually playing right now for first place in the conference. They were tied 28-28 at halftime. They both would be number 3 seeds according to Joe Lunardi. South Carolina having slipped to a 7 seed but obliterated Tennessee today, and Arkansas a 9 seed. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games.
South Carolina's lost 4 of their last 5 going into the day. Big win for them to get a win over Tennessee, and the Vols were inching toward the bubble for the NCAA tournament. They are sliding in the wrong direction coming down the stretch.
Well, the Rebels do have a lot of work to do. Their RPI as of today, ESPN Daily RPI, was 66. So they would have to win out and then win some games at the tournament to even play themselves into the conversation of being on the bubble.
The schedule relatively favorable after today. Ole Miss goes to Alabama, and then they host South Carolina next Saturday. So a couple of games that Ole Miss can win.
Jordan Burnett in the ball game for the first time following the timeout, and Missouri has missed their last 5 shots after hitting their first 2. Meantime, the Rebels, last 8 possessions, 2 for 4 shooting, 5 turnovers and 4 fouls. Cullen Neal had checked into the ball game at the timeout, and he missed the layup. Or a point-blank shot, not quite a layup.
Ole Miss doing a nice job making sure they don't give Missouri easy scoring opportunities. Getting back on defense, forcing Missouri to play half-court basketball.
So Barnett has missed his first 2 3-point attempts. Tyree on the drive had it knocked out of his hands by Barnett and out of bounds. And they're going to give the ball to Missouri. Next Saturday, we'll have a Magnolia State college basketball doubleheader for you. Barry and I will start it in Starkville at 6 Eastern for LSU and Mississippi State. And then when that one's over, it's back here to the Pavilion for South Carolina and Ole Miss. Sindarius Thornwell and DeAndre Burnett squared it off. Those games also available on the ESPN app.
Nice rebound by Reed Nico. Checked into the game, giving Missouri an extra possession, which they throw.
So neither one of these teams off to a great start here. Ole Miss has committed 6 turnovers, and the Tigers have now committed 3. And we've had 4 fouls called on Ole Miss and 4 fouls called on Missouri, and both teams have hit 2 buckets.
Nearly 6 minutes of play, only 4 points per side. But scoring pace, not exactly torrid, Matt.
Yeah, more turnovers than buckets, more fouls than buckets. Burnett hits the 3-pointer. DeAndre Burnett averaging 16.7 points per game overall. That's number 6 in the SEC, the transfer from the University of Miami.
DeAndre Burnett, an explosive scorer. See if that ignites the Ole Miss offense.
Phillips gives it up to Van Leer, and Van Leer fires a 3 off the iron. Neal grabs the rebound. Up the floor it comes, and Brooks launches a 3. Did not get the bounce, and Nico with the rebound for the Tigers. The freshman Hughes nearly had it swiped away, and he does. Ahead to Neal. Neal one man to beat, and missed the left-handed layup. Good defense by Phillips.
Nice hustle by the Rebels to come up with a basketball to continue this possession.
Ole Miss 3 of 7 shooting to start the game. The Tigers 2 of 10. Brooks, and he got fouled on his drive to the basket.
The Rebels' problem hadn't been putting the ball in the basket, it's been getting shots. This time Burnett gets the shot off, knocks down that 3-point shot. So Ole Miss has turned it over 6 times so far in this ball game. When they're getting shots, they've been successful.
Brooks hits the first free throw, and Ole Miss now has a 4-point lead. Not that you would know it today with the start of this contest, but the Rebels have been lighting it up, as we mentioned off the top, averaging 88.3 points per game over the last 4 games and 84 points per game over their last 7.
That has been the improvement for this Ole Miss team. Defense has been decent, middle of the pack defensively as far as defensive efficiency, but Ole Miss has really picked it up at the offensive end of the court with their scoring.
Brooks hits both free throws. He's 19 for 21 this season, and the Rebels, of course, number 2 in the conference in free throw shooting, number 1 in conference play, over 76%. Puryear on the drive. Good defense there. Forces the bad shot. Burnett up the floor. Burnett, 3-pointer. Kansas, second 3-pointer for Burnett, and he's already had a better day than he did when they beat Mississippi State on Tuesday. He was 1 for 13 shooting, 0 for 9 in that game against the Bulldogs. Frankie Hughes, he has been confounding. That's a good start for him. He got off such a great start this season, has really slumped as the season has gone on. We'll see if that 3 right there gets him going.
Frankie Hughes wide open on that shooting opportunity. With the bobble of the basketball before the ball came out to him sort of settled the Rebel defense down.
Rainbow three from Cullen Neal. And now Ole Miss starting to play more like it here offensively.
The Rebels warming to the task here, getting rolling at the offensive end of the court behind DeAndre Burnett.
Nico working against Hyman, steps underneath him, and a traveling call on Missouri. So Ole Miss starting to warm up here. First Burnett knocks down the three, and then Cullen Neal brings rain, and Missouri on a 15-3 run. Can't wait, championship week, 4 days from starting right here on the ESPN networks. As you take a look at the SEC basketball standings, the battle for number one in the SEC ongoing right now. Kentucky with a 59-55 lead on Florida with under 8 minutes to play now.
The fight for the top, and Ole Miss fighting to get into the top 4, which would give them a double bye in the SEC tournament and aid their cause as far as an NCAA tournament bid. They're playing two teams that are ahead of them in the standings, South Carolina and Alabama. These last 10 games, they have been among the best in the SEC.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about when we started the show here. Ole Miss started out 1-4. They've gone 7-3 in their last 10. You can make the argument, and you look at it from the standing standpoint, that they've made the greatest improvement out of anybody in the SEC over the last, 6 weeks of the season.
Rebels had some injury troubles, a lot of new players that they're trying to integrate into the system, but Coach Kennedy has brought this team along, and they are playing well here coming down the stretch of the season.
So Missouri showing a little pressure here as Neal yet to get it across the half-court line. They finally do with Burnett, and now Neal.
2-3 zone for Missouri out of the timeout. Look out for Burnett in the corner. Here's Neal.
Neal hit on the other side, missed on this side. We have a foul called on Ole Miss. Saiz picks up his first personal foul. That'll be the 5th team foul on the Rebels.
The players see this zone defense, and immediately the thoughts for a three-point shooter, thoughts go to, I got to knock down three-point shots. They're playing a zone, and you're so much more effective as that ball goes inside first, make that defense collapse, then kick it out for three.
Guys, they work it around. Barnett gets it back, steps inside the arc. That's a two-pointer for Jordan Barnett.
Excellent ball movement by Missouri that trip. Jordan Barnett getting the finish, but everything is very difficult for Missouri in this ball game. No fast break points, very few easy baskets. As Ole Miss doing a solid job defensively.
Good job by Puryear to force the turnover. 7 turnovers now for the Rebels.
Ole Miss shooting better than 50% in the ball game, but those turnovers really limiting the Rebels' opportunities to score.
So a 6-point lead for the Rebels as the Tigers bring it across. Ten on the shot clock as Hughes looks inside. No place to go with it. Hughes fires the three and hits it. Frankie Hughes has hit his first 2 3-point attempts here today.
Well, Hughes had the wide open one in the corner a few moments ago. That gives him confidence to step into a difficult one with the shot clock winding down, and another turnover for Ole Miss on the offensive foul.
And here's a big reason why Missouri is 2-13 in the conference, and they've lost 30 consecutive games on the road in the SEC. They just can't score the ball. In fact, they're shooting less than 40% from the floor this season.
And among the worst in the nation as far as three-point shooting. Missouri they do have a very difficult time putting that ball in the hole, and that makes this game really hard.
And a foul called on the Rebels. That's going to put the Tigers in the bonus for the rest of the half.
This game really going about as well as Kim Anderson and Missouri Tigers might have hoped. Pace of the game has been relatively slow. Ole Miss hadn't been able to get out in transition. The Tigers have forced the turnovers against Ole Miss to allow themselves to stay in this game.
First foul shots for the Tigers today. Woods had a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds in that 75-71 loss to the Rebels back on January 21st. And Missouri, after going through a terrible shooting slump in this ball game, has cut it back to 1. They're on a 7-0 run themselves.
See if Ole Miss will get that ball into the middle of the zone. They do not.
Burnett misses, and then the slam attempt by Hyman. Skies high into the air. Rebels keep it alive, however, and Davis the miss, and Furmanovicius with the tip in.
Outstanding possession for Ole Miss, getting 3 cracks at it by hitting the offensive backboards. Eustace Furmanovicius getting the finish.
Rebels number 5 in the SEC in offensive rebounds per game, 12.4. And Hughes misses his 3rd attempt after hitting his first 2, and last touch by the Tigers.
Ole Miss continued to work at their offensive end of the court. Furmanovicius up over the rim. That ball may have been over the rim as well. He gets a tip in and gets 2 for Ole Miss with the persistence.
Furmanovicius, a junior out of Lithuania by way of Three Rivers Community College. The drive by Burnett, and the foul is going to be called on the Tigers. Monday, SEC Inside gives you an all-access pass to Mississippi State and Alabama men's basketball for never-before-seen footage and sounds from the season so far inside the Bulldogs at 9 Eastern and the Tide at 9:30 right here on the SEC Network, also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. So the foul is called on Woods, and that's number 2 on him. And so both teams in the bonus for the rest of the half, which is good news for this Ole Miss team that makes a living at the foul line. In fact, they lead the nation coming into today's game with 562 free throws made.
DeAndre Burnett misses one. He came into this game making 44 of his last 47 free throw attempts. He couldn't get that first one down.
And if you're wondering, that's 93.6%.
Pretty solid. 1-3-1 zone from Ole Miss, giving Missouri some trouble.
And they really struggled against that 1-3-1 zone when they played back in January. In fact, Kim Anderson said, you know, the Tigers, one of the challenges today is recognizing their defenses. They had a hard time recognizing the different defenses that Andy Kennedy's team threw at them. Seven on the shot clock. And now with 3, Phillips hits the floater. Phillips with his first basket of the ball game. He scored 40 points combined in their last 2. And Missouri down by only 2.
That shot clock winding down, Terrence Phillips able to settle things up, get the basket, and Missouri Tigers hanging right in.
Left-handed layup by Terrence Davis. That gives him 4.
Davis with the 2 fouls, but back on the court, producing for the Ole Miss Rebels.
Averaging 23.8 points per game over their last 4. But Missouri hanging in there after a shooting slump in this ball game, starting to heat back up, and Terrence Phillips hits the floater. And it's a 4-point game as we go to timeout. Ole Miss with a 4-point lead, 7:26 to play here in the first half. Matt Stewart along with Barry Booker. One of the big stories for the Rebels this season has been Terrence Davis and his improved play from a year ago.
Yeah, Terrence Davis has worked on his body, has worked on his game. You can see the athleticism getting to the rim there, finishing with the offhand. The Ole Miss Rebels, led by Terrence Davis, is nearly 13 points per game better by a wide margin, the widest increase among SEC players.
Yeah, and you can tell that he has really been lighting it up the last 4 games. Even though he struggled shooting in their victory at Mississippi State on Tuesday night. He is still averaging just under 24 points per game over his last 4 games, and that included a career-high 33 points in their win against LSU last week. Kentucky has opened up a 10-point lead on Florida now with less than 4 minutes to play. So the Wildcats would have the inside track to the regular season championship and the #1 seed in the SEC tournament. Should they win that ball game? Nico with the block, and the clear comes to Geist. Geist on the drive, misses the layup. Good defense for Burnett underneath, and Geist missed it again, had it blocked. Nico got fouled finally, and he'll go to the line.
Great hustle by Nico. Hustling after the basketball. Jordan Geist down, or after this block shot. There's Nico getting up, swatting out Tyree's shot. Missouri able to push it down the court. One of their few opportunities to score in transition.
Nico, the freshman at a Maple Grove, Minnesota high school. Just a 45% free throw shooter on the year. And the rebound by Hyman.
The Tigers feeling good about getting 1 out of 2 from Nico. Poor foul shooter. Missouri in this zone defense, they have handled it pretty well. Ole Miss has had the ball on the perimeter almost exclusively against this zone.
Geist brings it up. Played at Ranger College last year for Billy Gillespie. They go inside to Nico. He'll pass out, they'll whip it around. And find Puryear. And a turnover. And a foul. Burnett going to be whistled for the foul. That'll be #1 on him.
Good hands by DeAndre Burnett for Ole Miss. Come up with the basketball and force that turnover. Ole Miss doing a great job rebounding, a huge advantage there. We thought that would be one of the keys to the game for the Rebels. They hadn't been very good against the Missouri 2-3 zone defense, though. They gotta attack that zone, get the ball into the paint.
Burnett at the line, averaging 6.4 points per game and a 61% free throw shooter.
Ole Miss, such a great foul shooting team. Getting to the line and taking advantage of those opportunities.
They're shooting 82% plus from the foul line over the last 8 games. They are 75% at the line today.
The Rebels continue to change up their defenses back to the 1-3-1 zone.
Long 3-point attempt by Phillips, a rim out. Nico went up and got it, and then got stripped by Brooks. It'll be the Tigers' ball underneath.
Nico crashing in, getting a somewhat rare rebound for Missouri in this ball game so far. Missouri, the Tigers will get another chance at it.
Wow, over the head of Puryear, and he goes back to get it.
There's no possession of the basketball in the front court, so Puryear able to go into the back court, retrieve the ball. So plenty of time on the shot clock for Missouri.
Six on the clock. Phillips. Geist. And here come the Rebels. Kneel across.
Shot clock winding down once again for Missouri. Just couldn't get a quality shot off.
Brooks, after missing Tuesday's game as a result, kind of related to that seizure he had back against Tennessee in January. Doctors did not clear him to play on Tuesday. He returned to practice on Thursday, and he's off to a good start here today. Van Leer got inside Burnett and got the offensive rebound, and then Nico banked it off the back iron. Well, it was a good idea.
Yeah, the Tigers just can't afford to miss on those kind of opportunities. Puryear had a really easy shot in the lane, and here comes Nico trying to stuff it home. It's off the back iron, and Missouri's got to reset against this zone.
Hughes takes a long three. Van Leer gets the rebound. Hughes gets it back. This time he'll drive with the left hand, missed the layup. Eight-point lead for the Rebels. 4.5 minutes to play in the half.
Tigers a little confused what they were doing defensively, slipped back into that zone, which I think has been pretty good for them, as Ole Miss has continued to launch from the perimeter against that zone.
Rebels now shooting 40%. They're 8 of 20 in this game. 4 of 8 on their threes. Tigers are 25%. 6 of 24 in the game. 2 of 11 on threes. Hughes gets mugged on the baseline, and he'll go to the foul line.
Nice backdoor cut by Frankie Hughes. Good pass by Van Leer to set him up for the scoring opportunity. Hughes will end up at the line as he has had a nice ball game for Missouri so far, knocking down a couple of three-point shots.
Firmanovich is called for the foul. Tigers are 3 of 4 at the foul line as Hughes hits the first free throw. As I mentioned earlier, got such a wonderful start this season. Became the first Tiger ever to have back-to-back 20-point games in the first 2 games of his career. One for 20-plus, 23 against Alabama A&M, and followed that with 24 in their loss against Xavier, a game they surely should have won but didn't.
And all of a sudden, Frankie Hughes starts getting some defensive attention, getting into the scouting report for the opposition, and he did not respond to that very well, although he is learning about playing basketball at this level and having a nice game so far today for the Tigers.
He's got 8 points in 7 minutes. That's 1 point above his per-game average. The drive by Burnett, and he steps on the baseline. 3 minutes and 39 seconds to play in the first half. Ole Miss with a 6-point lead here at the Pavilion. Thank you, Laura. No doubt about it. 16 total fouls called in this ball game already. If you take a look at Andy Kennedy in his 11th season, the all-time winningest coach in Rebels history, just picked up his 250th career win in their victory against Mississippi State on Tuesday.
And he has seen a lot of turnover among his brethren, SEC coaches. You can see the head coaches in the SEC when Andy Kennedy came into the league and where they are now. A couple of them out of coaching, with John Brady being one of those, but Andy Kennedy is standing strong, and man, if he had any hair, he'd be pulling it out right now, as his team has frustrated him so far in this game with their turnovers and struggle against these Missouri Tigers, giving Missouri hope that they can pull out a win here in Oxford.
Under 3.5 minutes to play in the half. Missouri in another shooting slump. They've missed their last 8 shots. They had a 0 for 9 slump earlier in the game and end it right there with Van Leer's rainbow 3, his first basket of the ball game.
Colin Van Leer able to knock down the three-point shot against the Ole Miss zone defense, and Missouri hanging right in there. They've evened things up as far as rebounding, or at least made it closer. Ole Miss still having a tough time against this zone from Missouri.
Nico with another good job on the glass. He's got 7 rebounds already in this game.
Nico has been really effective on the backboards. Ole Miss at one point had a 14-5 rebound advantage. And it's about even right now since Nico came into the game and started snatching those rebounds for the Tigers.
Offensive foul on the Tigers per year. Whistled there, and that'll be number 2 on him.
Nice job by Firmanovich, standing in, taking the hit, getting the possession back for Ole Miss.
Rebels shooting 38%. This is kind of reminiscent of their ball game on Tuesday against Mississippi State. They shot only 37% despite the fact they won against their rivals earlier this week. And another turnover on the Rebels, number 10 for Ole Miss. Barnett on the drive and the lay-in.
Very impressive by Jordan Barnett. Hanging in the air, getting all the way to the basket, using the glass. Excellent job. Another turnover for Ole Miss. And an easy basket for Missouri.
Second basket for Barnett as the Tigers cut it to 1. Tyree. Barnett battling for the rebound, ends up on the deck. Neal falls on top of him. Firmanovicius falls on top of him. And we'll be back here in the Magnolia State next Saturday for a college basketball doubleheader. Barry and I will be in Starkville at 6 Eastern for LSU and Mississippi State. And then right after that, we'll come right back to the Pavilion for South Carolina and Ole Miss. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Senior Day around the SEC, last day of the regular season next Saturday. Looking forward to getting down to Starkville. That's going to be a high-scoring game for LSU and Mississippi State next weekend.
So a fresh 30 for the Rebels, leading by 1, and Burnett, offensive foul on Burnett. That's going to be number 1 on him. That is the 10th foul called on the Rebels in this half.
I'll tell you what, the effort by the Missouri Tigers, they come into this game, they've struggled mightily during conference play, 2-13, 7-20 overall, but these Tigers are playing hard, giving themselves a chance to win this ball game today.
7-0 run right now, a chance to take the lead with a basket on this possession. Barnett in a double team, passes out of it. Hughes for the lead. And Firmanovicius with the rebound. Crowd wanted a over-the-back foul on Nico and didn't get it.
Firmanovicius really playing well for Ole Miss. Aggressive on the backboards. Ole Miss struggling at this end of the court, just struggling to handle the basketball and having a tough time attacking the Missouri defense.
They've committed 11 turnovers in this game. They average only 14 a game. And a foul called on the Tigers. This will be on Hughes and number 1 on him.
It's a grown man's rebound right here. Eustace Firmanovicius fending off a couple of Missouri Tigers to go up and snatch that board for Ole Miss.
Yeah, he's already got 5 rebounds in this game, which is above his per-game average. And Burnett, who's very reliable at the foul line, although he did miss one earlier today, knocks down that one, and the Rebels are up 2.
Firmanovicius getting quite a bit of run so far today because the starting center for Ole Miss, Sebastian Saiz, has 2 fouls and 2 turnovers. No points. In only 7 minutes of play, he'll probably sit the rest of the half.
Stolen away. 9th turnover for the Tigers. Tyree, run through, miss, Neal the tip in.
Nice D by Tyree, come up with a basketball. Should have made the layup, but his teammates there to get the easy finish.
11 seconds in the half, and Hughes is fouled on the play by Neal.
This scrambling zone defense by Ole Miss, forcing the turnover. Good drive by Tyree, and Cullen Neal right there, along with a couple of other Ole Miss Rebels, with that easy little tap in. Mizzou hanging in. Frankie Hughes continuing his solid play here in the first half for the Tigers.
So Hughes has 9. This is the most he has scored in a game going all the way back to the Auburn game on January 10th. Three seconds in the half. Burnett, shot blocked by Nico. And Hughes at the buzzer. Big half for Frankie Hughes, who has 9. And a big reason why Missouri is still in this game at 29-26 at the break.
Nice job hanging in there by the Missouri Tigers.
So let's send you to Laura Rutledge, Dane Bradshaw, and Antoine Walker now in our SEC Network studios for the halftime report. 29-26 lead on Missouri as we get ready to start the second half. Matt Stewart along with Barry Booker at the Pavilion. We started the game by talking about the Rebels making what they hope is a push to the postseason, but they only have a 3-point lead on the Tigers right now.
Yeah, the Rebels have had some foul trouble. They've had some turnover trouble, but they have had some perimeter punch in their game, led by Terrence Davis. So far in this ball game, Davis has knocked down, or it's DeAndre Burnett knocking down the three-point shot there. Burnett getting this three-pointer as well. It's Davis with the foul trouble. He has 2 fouls so far in the game and only 4 points in 8 minutes of play, but he was able to get this put back early in the game. But the Rebels need Davis and Burnett to get rolling here in the second half if they're going to fend off these scrappy Missouri Tigers.
You see they've combined for 13 of the Rebels' 29 points thus far. The other 2 big storylines in this game, as they've combined for 4 for 10 shooting so far in the first 20 minutes, is Sebastian Saiz with foul trouble, 7 scoreless minutes, 7 reboundless minutes, and he averages a double-double, the only player in the SEC to average a double-double. And Frankie Hughes with 10 points, his first double-figure scoring game since way back in December. He had gone 16 games without scoring in double figures, and he did it in the first half here today.
Big boost for Missouri, getting Frankie Hughes to be productive off that bench. Now we'll see if Ole Miss will do a better job attacking this Missouri defense here in the second half. The Rebels had the basketball settle in on the perimeter against the Missouri defense a lot of that first half.
Offensive foul on Davis, number 3 on him.
And the second half begins much like the first half went. More foul trouble for Missouri. Davis committing that charge on that play for his 3rd foul. And a lot of things going in Missouri's direction this afternoon here in Oxford.
All right, first thing that Andy Kennedy said to us when we sat down with him at shoot-around today is we've been Jekyll and Hyde this season. They are definitely Hyde today.
Not the doctor, the monster.
Yep.
See if Ole Miss can turn that around. They have explosive players. Things can turn around in a hurry for the Ole Miss Rebels.
Phillips barely grazed the iron with that shot right there. He is 0 for 3 on his 3-point attempts. And Burnett now 3 for 4 on his threes. Leads all scorers with 12, and the Rebels lead by 6.
DeAndre Burnett snapping the net. It can be easy at times for Ole Miss because of their talent at the offensive end of the court. Missouri has no one that can create that sort of offense in a quick way.
Geis with a 3-point attempt and cans it, the 4th 3-pointer for the Tigers in this game, and the first basket for Geis.
Nice job by Geist dribbling into that 3-point shot as Missouri settles back into that 2-3 zone that Ole Miss has had so much trouble against.
The last thing you want to do if you're the Rebels is give the Tigers a reason to believe this is going to be the day they snap that long losing streak on the road. And Burnett cans another 3. 4 3-pointers for DeAndre Burnett, and he has 15 of the Rebels' 35.
Out of this zone defense, Missouri better find DeAndre Burnett. He is heating up outside that 3-point line.
He had a 41-point game against Oral Roberts' 3rd game of the season. So he's capable of really filling it up. Saiz with his first rebound of the day. It comes 22 minutes into this contest.
Brian Tyree, good hustle at the defensive end to contest that 3-point shot from Geist. Getting to the rim and getting fouled there. For Ole Miss, the offense in the second half has been DeAndre Burnett stepping into that 3-point shot, and then after great ball movement by Ole Miss, Burnett open in the corner, cannon another 3.
Burnett, number 7 in the SEC, averaging 2 3-pointers per game. He's got double that number already today as Tyree hits the free throw. Just the 3rd point of the day for Tyree, who had a career-high 24 in the victory against Mississippi State on Tuesday. 8 of those 24 coming in overtime. Really a game that, Andy Kennedy admitted they had no business winning. They gave away a 9-point lead in the last three, shot very poorly, got out-rebounded, but to their credit, they grinded it out against their rival.
Able to find a way, getting the sweep against Mississippi State this year.
Foul on the Rebels. Neal called foul, number 2 on him. Geist will inbounds for the Tigers. Barnett's their leading scorer, averages 12.5 points per game. He's got only 4 so far today. Walton on the drive and a tripping foul, and this is going to be on Saiz, and that is going to be not on Saiz. It's going to be on Burnett. That's going to be number 2 on him.
A bit of a break for Ole Miss there, getting the foul called on Burnett as opposed to Saiz. The Rebels need to get the big fella. Sebastian Saiz don't.
Woods inside to Barnett. Foul called on Neal. Number 3 on him. So 3 fouls called on the Rebels here in less than 3 minutes. Inbounds comes to Geist, and Geist underneath, and 1! And another foul on Neal. He's got 3.
Jordan Geist, a physical player, tough guy, getting that inbounds pass, going up strong against Cullen Neal, not able to complete the 3-point play though.
So Ole Miss quickly getting into foul trouble in this ball game. 5 fouls in less than 3 minutes. Only 1 foul called on the Tigers so far in the half. Burnett, foul called on Geist. That's number 1 on him.
A team like Missouri that struggles to score, getting into the bonus here in the second half is going to greatly improve their chances of staying in this game and having a chance to win at the end.
Saiz still scoreless, comes out, got a double team on him right there. Burnett takes a 3 and misses that one. Hyman misses the tip attempt. Walton brings it across for the Tigers.
And what an easy scoring opportunity there for Hyman, just left it short.
Phillips lets the 3 fly off the back iron. Rebound underneath, Woods missed it.
Good block by Hyman, staying active.
Burnett misses the layup. And Phillips and Tyree get tangled up, and now Woods steps in, and Patrick Evans intervenes. The official had to step in as Woods came in after the tangle up. And a little bit of a confrontation right at the top of the circle.
Nice job out there by Patrick Evans, stepping into that scrum, keeping the players separated. We're getting some in-the-end action. Phillips just frustrated that he lost the basketball, and Tyree and Phillips tangled up.
And you'll see here's where things escalated as Woods steps in, and Patrick Evans had to intervene with his body.
I don't think we're going to see anything worthy of a flagrant foul or a technical on that play. We will play on, but end-to-end action here these last few minutes.
I don't think any, I mean, there was just a lot of jawing going on, but I don't see anything that would result in any kind of a flagrant foul being called in that situation. Patrick Evans and Todd Austin at the table looking at the monitor.
Typically, basketball players don't want to fight. So all they need is a little bit of an excuse, you know, a little bit of hold me back to break things up. Great job up there by Patrick Evans to step in, separate those young men off and get back to the action.
Well, let me ask you, Barry, it's a 37-31 game. Missouri's kind of been hanging around. Ole Miss can't kind of get any separation in this ball game. What do the Tigers have to do to get over the hump and maybe win today on the road for the first time in over 3 years?
Well, I think they're trying to speed the game up when they're going to their end of the court, getting out into transition, trying to score early in the shot clock. They were so good in the first half because they were forcing turnovers and able to push the ball down the court. If the Tigers can get back to that, force a few turnovers, push the ball down the court, get some quick scoring opportunities, they will hang right in there. Also, they're getting close to being in the bonus, so driving the ball to the basket. When they get into a half-court setting, they got to drive, try and draw fouls instead of settling for the jumpers.
Yeah, this game's big for two very different reasons. Missouri trying to snap that long losing streak. That goes without saying. Ole Miss, if they're going to have any chance of pushing to the postseason, they have to win this game. They can't drop this one, or else it's all over.
Yeah, you can't win out if you don't win today. This would be a huge blow to the Ole Miss resume, to their RPI, all those measures on their home court against these Missouri Tigers. A couple of big games coming up at Alabama and here against South Carolina next Saturday, but got to take care of business first of all with this one. The official taking a long look.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty apparent at first blush and second glance that nothing really happened.
I mean, there's pushing, no blows to the head.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a foul called there somewhere, right? Should be a foul called somewhere, but nothing flagrant.
Like on Phillips, the shove. I think we're just about ready to play on here. You know what I'd love to see is just go to our break, go to our 16-minute timeout in this kind of situation.
And let them figure it out and then come back and play, right?
Exactly.
Well, they're bringing both of the coaches in, so apparently they found something. So they apparently spotted something that we did not see. So it looks like Brian Tyree and Terrence Phillips have been hit with technical fouls.
During the scuffle, you got offsetting technical fouls on 4 white and 25 black.
Okay. So we have Brian Tyree and Russell Woods with technical fouls. And then so they're offsetting technicals on those two and a common foul on Terrence Phillips.
And the players get the opportunity to cool off. We see Phillips and Tyree slapping hands coming out of that break. So everything settled down and we're ready to play basketball again.
Well, we don't want them to cool off too much. Ole Miss is already shooting just 37% and Missouri 30.
Yeah, a little bit cool all day here in Oxford.
Saiz in a double team. They got Burnett and Nico on him. And the rebound by Geis. We have a foul called on the Tigers. 4 minutes into the second half. The Rebels leading by 6 here at home. Been a tough day for Sebastian Saiz, the only player in the SEC who's averaging a double-double. Saiz averaging 15 points, 11 rebounds per game. He's number 1 in the conference in rebounding per game. He's number 7 in the nation in rebounding. But he has no points and 2 rebounds today in 11 minutes and just really has not been able to get on track after picking up 2 quick fouls.
Yeah, Missouri doing a pretty good job against Sebastian Saiz. They're running double teams at him pretty often when he gets the ball offensively. Doing a great job blocking him off the backboards. But Sebastian Saiz, if the Rebels are going to take control of this game, it's going to be because Saiz gets more active and more involved in this ball game.
He's had only one game in conference play where he was held to double or single digits. He's been double figures in every other game, but today still scoreless after 24 minutes. Nico has done a really good job, as he's doing right now, denying any kind of entry pass to him, then comes over to help out on the drive by Tyree and fouls him. So Nico picks up the foul, and that'll be number 1 on him.
Good drive by Brian Tyree. Getting to the basket. You can see the athleticism that Tyree has as we see. Is there a more famous, a more accomplished fan in the SEC than that man, Morgan Freeman?
The Academy Awards are tomorrow night on ABC, 8:30 Eastern, with host Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, he was the Academy Award winner in 2005, Best Supporting Actor for his role in $1 Million Baby, starring alongside producer, director, and actor Clint Eastwood and Hilary Swank.
And Bruce Almighty, Evan Almighty, God himself is in the building.
And a big Rebels fan. His team up by 8. And the three-pointer by Burnett. First one for him today.
Missouri Tigers continuing to hang around, give themselves a chance in this ball game.
He had consecutive 23-point games 2 weeks ago in their loss at Texas A&M and their win against Bambi. Hughes ahead to Phillips. Phillips will take it all the way and lay it in. And the Tigers back to 3. Like I said a few moments ago, Barry, Ole Miss can't ever put them away. They'll get out to an 8-point lead, and then the Tigers will bounce back, hit a couple of baskets, and get it back under 5.
Excellent defense that last trip by Russell Woods. Knocked the basketball away, and here's another turnover against Ole Miss.
Moving screen on Saiz. That's his 3rd personal foul. What would you have said if we said 25 minutes into this game, Saiz would have more fouls than rebounds and points combined?
I'd say it's going to be trouble for the Ole Miss Rebels, and the trouble continues to mount.
Hughes. Rim out on the 3, and the rebound for Manovicius clears it ahead to Tyree. Burnett puts it on the floor, got fouled. I believe that's going to be on Phillips. That'll be number 3 on him. And it is on Phillips. We're back here in the Magnolia State next week. SEC doubleheader on the final Saturday of the regular season. Barry and I will be in Starkville for LSU and Mississippi State. That starts at 6 Eastern. Then we'll send you back to the Pavilion for South Carolina and Ole Miss. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. So Phillips goes to the bench with his 3 personal fouls. Only 4 points for him today after Phillips had scored 22 against Kentucky this week.
It's my first time in the Pavilion today. It's a beautiful facility. If anybody thinks that people in SEC country don't care about basketball, check out this arena, the Auburn Arena, and very extensive renovations at Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa and at Athens.
4 on the shot clock. With 2 on the clock, shot blocked by Furmanovicius. And a shot clock violation as a result.
Another nice defensive possession by Ole Miss as we get a look around the Pavilion.
Opened January 7th, 2016, replacing the Tad Pad, the Tad Smith Coliseum that's right across the parking lot here. Seats over 9,000 for basketball.
We got the social area out the entrance of the Pavilion. A lot of people gather and eat before the game and hang out, enjoy a beverage or two. You know, these Rebels, they like to socialize. They like to get together.
Burnett at the foul line after Hughes is called for the foul. And Burnett now with 18 points. Game high honors for DeAndre Burnett.
And talking about the pavilion, the city of Oxford, man, it's like Pleasantville around here. This is just a beautiful town. The square is incredible. All the construction on campus. It's a fantastic destination. Oxford, Mississippi, especially fun for a football game. Hang out at the Grove. We got to do that last time the Commodores were down here. It's a fun spot.
Turnover, Burnett working against Geis. Tyree at the elbow. Tyree with his second basket. He has 8, and once again, the Rebels open up a 9-point lead.
The Rebels able to force that turnover. Kim Anderson not liking how things are looking right now, so stopping the action, wanting to chat with this club.
Well, the Rebels have opened up their biggest lead of the game. They're up by 9. DeAndre Burnett, a big reason why, and Tyree with the basket to make it 45-36. SEC headlines, 11 teams in the RPI Top 100. Only one other conference can boast better than that. 11th-ranked Kentucky defeats 13th-ranked Florida today to snap the Gators' 9-game winning streak, take over sole possession of first place atop the standings, and South Carolina snapped a 3-game losing streak today as the Gamecocks wiped out the Volunteers 82-55 in Columbia.
Watching College Game Day this morning, all 3 of the analysts picked Florida to win at Kentucky. Knew the Gators were doomed from that moment.
Malik Monk scored 30 points in the second half and finished with 33 to lead the Wildcats to the victory in their 14th conference win of the season. Meantime here, Ole Miss on a 6-0 run over the last 81 seconds after Missouri had pushed it cut it to a 3-point lead, and now the Rebels have pushed it back to a 9-point lead. Kind of a similar pattern we've had the entire day, where the Rebels will do this and the Tigers will come back and cut it under 5 again. Never have they been able to get over the hump, have the Tigers in this contest. They only led at 4-2, the only time they've led today. 3 on the shot clock, Burnett. And the rebound scrambled for and jump ball called. And the possession arrow favors the Tigers.
Hustle by Burnett, getting on the floor after the basketball. Give Missouri another chance.
Phillips and Van Leer check into the ball game. Phillips only 4 points today. He had really been on a roll the last 2 games, scoring 40 total points, 22 against Kentucky, and then 18 against Tennessee over the last week, I should say. Tennessee game last weekend, last Saturday on Rocky Top. Oh, shit. Under 13 minutes to play here, and a 9-point lead for Ole Miss. Rebels looking for their 9th conference win of the season. Puryear and Saiz. Puryear scored only 2 points today. He scored 26 the last time these 2 teams played. Sets a screen for Phillips. And over the back, I believe Puryear. Yep, Puryear whistled for the foul. Number 4 on him.
Both his hands on the Ole Miss player in front of him, and that's an automatic for the officials.
Well, you don't want to get into a free throw shooting contest with Ole Miss. They're 15 of 16 today.
Furmanovicius holding his ground inside. Puryear came up behind him, both hands in the back. And Ole Miss has hit 15 of their 16 free throw attempts today.
And Furmanovicius is 2 for 2. Saiz, a chance to get his first basket, and he does. So 2 points and 3 rebounds for Sebastian Saiz today. Can you win when he doesn't go double-double for you?
Today, probably. Next week, doubtful.
Hughes with 13. This is nearly as many points as he has scored in his last 7 games combined. He had 15 points in his last 7 games. He's got 13 alone today.
Big basket as Ole Miss had extended to a double-digit lead. Frankie Hughes, strong play this afternoon in Oxford.
I saw him early in the season. I swore he was going to be an all-freshman player this year. Has has not worked out that way as Brooks buries his second three, 7th for the Rebels. First time they've stretched the lead to double digits. Now it's 11.
Rasheed Brooks knocking out the three-point shot, and can Missouri continue to answer as the pace of scoring here in the second half is really elevated, which is a problem for the Tigers.
Burnett's 4th basket. He has 9. Tigers got to get some stops. Rebels shooting 50% in the half. 5 for 10.
Missouri playing man-to-man these last few trips. I thought the zone was pretty effective for the Tigers in the first half. It made Ole Miss a little uncomfortable.
4 on the shot clock. Tyree drives, contact, and Woods is going to be called for the foul. And that's going to be number 4 on him. Ole Miss with a 9-point lead. Rasheed Brooks back after missing the ball game on Tuesday, cans the 3 for the Rebels. Russell Woods highly agitated after picking up his 4th personal foul, trying to fire up his team in the timeout huddle.
Frustrations begin to mount when a team has not had the success the way the Tigers have this year. Woods trying to get his club going, trying to get himself going. We'll see if they can get back into this game as Ole Miss has stretched the lead to double digits a couple of times here in the second half. Missouri trying to hang in.
Well, he's on the bench right now with his 4 fouls. Only 4 points and 2 rebounds for Woods today after he'd gone for a double-double the last time these two teams played. It's still very demonstrative as he sits on the pine right now. And Tyree at the line trying to give the Rebels again a double-digit lead. 4 for 4 at the foul line for Tyree, 8 points today.
And Tyree becoming an effective point guard up and down this season, as you would expect for a first-year guy in the league. But playing better as the team has moved down the stretch of the season.
Well, he just, he tore his ACL in April, so it's been less than a year. Really hasn't been the explosive player that they believe he's eventually going to be here for the Rebels.
Andy Kennedy telling us this morning that he is an incredible athlete. When he gets a little more comfortable with that knee and he gets the athleticism back, he's going to be an outstanding SEC point guard.
Burnett with his 2nd three-pointer. Tyree open 3. Canned it. Tyree with his first three-pointer of the day. 8 now for the Rebels as the lead stretches back to 11, matching their largest of the game.
A lot of scoring here in the second half as Ole Miss had 31 points at the half, and they've almost matched that total here in the second half.
Hughes, three-pointer, got it. And Hughes was 16. Even if the Tigers don't win today, that's at least a silver lining for this Tigers team that Frankie Hughes, returning to his early season form, was 16 on 4 three-pointers. Saiz takes a 3 and hit it. Sebastian Saiz with the three-pointer, only a 27% three-point shooter.
I misspoke a moment ago. 29 points in the first half. It was 29-26 at halftime. Ole Miss has matched their 29 points from the first half already. Here in the second half, only 9 minutes in, as Sebastian Saiz steps out, drains that three-point shot. He begins to play well for the Rebels.
And one of his biggest fans, Morgan Freeman, wearing the number 11 on the side of his cap there. Saiz, the senior out of Madrid. And Hughes now with 17 points. Had a career-high 24 in the second game of his college career against Xavier. Good to see him get going again.
Yes, indeed. We knew that after those first couple of games, the talent was there, the ability was there. Frankie Hughes finally showing it against an SEC opponent.
Lost confidence in his shot. It looks like he's got plenty of confidence in his shot today.
He knocked down a couple of them early. Nothing like seeing it go through the nets to boost the old confidence for a shooter.
Rebels have scored on their last 8 possessions. Clock is down to 7. Stripped by Hughes, getting it done on the defensive end as well. Gets it back. Let's see if he takes a three. Instead, it gets to Nico, and Nico and one! Nico somehow was able to force that ball through two defenders and get it off the glass.
How about the play at both ends of the court from Frankie Hughes? He forces the turnover, hustles and saves the basketball inbounds, and doesn't jack up a shot as he's hustling down the court. Feeds it inside to Nico. Chance for a three-point play for the Missouri Tigers.
And Nico completes the three-point play. So Missouri cuts it to 7. You know, and I thought on that play I thought it would have been well within the framework of the game for him to launch a transition three there, but instead passed it up to Nico and got the three-point play nonetheless.
That's exactly. I was expecting a shot to go up from Frankie Hughes, but good job being patient, being unselfish.
Saiz chases it down, and it is saved by Burnett. 7 on the shot clock. Tyree was 6 on the clock, and the miss. And Burnett beats everybody to the ball.
Oh, what a rebound by Burnett, tipping the ball to himself.
Hughes, three-pointer, got it! Frankie Hughes with 20 points today, and Missouri down only 4.
Frankie Hughes playing the right way, taking the open shot instead of forcing one. Coming out party today for young man number 3 in gray.
Young Frankie Hughes out of Cleveland, Ohio is back. 20 today, and Missouri down only 4. 8:08 to play. Missouri has cut what was an 11-point lead for Ole Miss back to 4. And time now to take a look at our Good Hands play. It's brought to you by Allstate.
Our Allstate Good Hands play of the day, brought to us by Frankie Hughes. The strip, the hustle to save the basketball, and not forcing the shot up, feeding it inside. Our Allstate Good Hands plays of the day by Frankie Hughes. Both ends of the court, defensively, offensively with the pass. Frankie Hughes playing good basketball for the Missouri Tigers and giving us the Allstate Good Hands play of the day.
Yeah, Barry, that was really a 3-in-1. You got the steal by Frankie Hughes, the assist by Frankie Hughes, and then the basket between two defenders by Nico. And Missouri down only 4, a 7-0 run over the last 79 seconds, hitting their last 6 shots after they'd fallen behind by 11.
So Ole Miss has matched their total, 29 points in the first half, 29 now in the second half, and Missouri has exceeded their 26 points in the first half with 28 in the second. Now that lead down to 4.
Rebels back on offense, 4-point lead. Just over 8 minutes to play in regulation here. Tigers trying to snap a 30-game SEC road losing streak. They've lost 33 in a row overall on the road. True road games, not neutral games, but true road games.
Half-court basketball right now. Can the Missouri Tigers execute? We'll see them be aggressive, drive that ball into the paint.
Hughes, kick out. Van Leer steps inside the arc and buries it.
And another play by Frankie Hughes. He put the ball on the floor, got into the lane to set up Van Leer for the scoring opportunities. The Missouri Tigers right back in it.
Terrence Davis, the tip-in after the miss by Davis by Saiz, his 3rd basket of the day. He has 7 points and 4 rebounds.
Big basket by Sebastian Scott Saiz, stopping a long run for the Missouri Tigers.
The Tigers have made their last 7 shots, make it 8 shots in a row. 22 for Hughes. That's just 2 off his career high.
Who is this guy?
It's the guy that we saw back in November when he scored 23 against Alabama A&M and then 24 against Xavier.
SEC play, Frankie Hughes averaging only 3 points per game, 3.1 points per game, 44 points in his first 14 games of SEC play, and on fire today, and not selfish. Getting the ball in the lane there, feeding it out to Van Leer, and then that nice little 2-dribble pull-up jumper along the baseline to follow that. Frankie Hughes leading the way for the Missouri Tigers.
Burnett now with 20 points. Burnett, who is number 8 in the SEC in three-point shooting, number 2 in the SEC in free throw shooting, gets both of them. Four-point lead for Ole Miss. Tigers hanging around here. Inside to Nico. Nico with the basket off glass.
Beautiful pass from Jordan Geist. We're seeing Missouri more aggressive offensively, getting that ball down around the rim and creating some good scoring opportunities.
And Burnett with the answer. 24 now for Burnett.
Missouri scraps, they fight, they work together to get a basket. DeAndre Burnett just comes down, pulls up, 3.
Barnett up close, but Nico there with the follow. How about Nico with 8 points and a career-high 7 rebounds today?
Nico has played extremely well today for Missouri. He's had ankle troubles this year, a lot of difficulty with the injuries, but Nico overcoming it today, scoring and playing and rebounding.
Burnett wide open. They got to get a body on him. And here comes Hughes across the floor, a chance to tie with a 3. Instead he drives, pulls up, and misses.
Looking for the whistle on that play. Another good aggressive play on that last trip by Frankie Hughes.
Davis left it short. Good defense by the Tigers. Again, a chance for Missouri to come down the floor and tie it.
Jordan Geist all the way to the basket. And inside the last 5 minutes of the game, the Missouri Tigers have all they could have asked for, a chance to win this game here in Oxford.
Missouri is 0-7 on the road in the SEC this season, and only 2 of those games have been decided by less than double digits.
Missouri moving the basketball. Beautiful pass on the pick and roll from Jordan Geist to read Nico right at the rim. Easy score. Missouri Tigers fought their way, got this lead down to 1. We'll see if DeAndre Burnett and the Rebels can pull this one out.
Monday, SEC Insight gives you an all-access pass to Mississippi State and Alabama men's basketball for never-before-seen footage and sounds from the season so far inside the Bulldogs at 9 Eastern and the Tide at 9:30 right here on SEC Network. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. So Burnett now with 25 points today. Where would they be without him? 26 of their 67. Rebels lead by 3, approaching the 4.5-minute mark.
Burnett was grimacing as he moved back down the court on defense.
Woods passes out. Lob inside for Barnett, who throws it in.
Another nice pass from Jordan Geist. Lead back down to 1. Let's see if the Tigers can execute defensively.
Tigers have hit 11, make that 12 of their last 14 shots. Rebels have missed 6 of their last 8. Neal on the drive, got stripped on the play, and Davis got fouled after picking up the loose ball. Barnett called for the foul. That's number 3 on him. And Terrence Davis will go to the foul line.
The Rebels fortunate to retain possession on that trip. Ball stripped away. Terrence Davis able to come up with it, get the scoring opportunity. Big foul shots.
Only 4 points for Davis, who had averaged just under 24 points per game in his last 4 outings. Had 18 points and 11 rebounds when these 2 teams played last month in Como. 3-point lead again for the Rebels. 4 minutes to play. Geist goes by Saiz and beats him to the basket.
Jordan Geist making play after play for the Ole Miss Rebels, driving it to the basket and making beautiful passes to set up his teammates. Missouri finding a couple of playmakers in Geist and Frankie Hughes today.
He averaged 15 a game last year at Ranger College, and Hughes nearly comes up with the steal, knocks it out of bounds. We've got a game with 3 minutes and 38 seconds today. Will this be the day? Missouri snaps the losing streak. They're down 1. Missouri down only 1 with 3.5 minutes to play. Our 2 leading scorers today, DeAndre Burnett and Frankie Hughes. Burnett expected, Hughes not.
DeAndre Burnett, 26 points in the game, 5 of 8 from three-point range. He's also spent a lot of time at the foul line, 11 out of 12 from the foul line. DeAndre Burnett absolutely carrying the load for the Ole Miss Rebels. And on the other side, the surprise off the bench, Frankie Hughes playing his best game since way back in November. 22 points for Hughes off some very good three-point shooting, 5 of 9 from 3 and 5 of 6 from the line for Hughes.
And when we sat in the locker room with Coach Kim Anderson about an hour before the game, I asked him, what's up with Frankie Hughes? And in one word, he said, confounding. And he has been confounding in a good way today.
Yes, confounding and confidence, another word that Kim Anderson mentioned in discussing Frankie Hughes. And Hughes got a couple of shots to go early in this game and has really played well for Missouri.
Stolen away by Hughes. Van Leer ahead to Geist, and he had it swiped out of the air by Davis. Davis going coast to coast, and that is going to be a blocking foul on Woods, who just fouled out.
Man, Missouri had possession of the basketball, down by 1. Threw it away.
And Woods better be careful. The last thing they need for him to do is get teed up here as he walks by Rob Rourke, the official. And Nico's going to check in for him.
Woods definitely moving over, leaning over. He's outside that restricted area. But the lean there, Terrence Davis able to draw that foul.
So Davis with the free throw. Rebels now 24 of 26 of the foul line today. That's 92.3%.
Great foul shooting is the reason for this slight advantage that the Rebels enjoy right now. Up 3 as we approach 3 minutes left in the game.
Geist on the drive and gets the layup in there. He's got 11. And Geist ends up on the floor. I didn't see what was happened. I was screened. The Missouri bench is right here beside us, and so Kim Anderson was standing in front of me, but it looks like he got popped right above the eye.
That will
goodness.
be a flagrant foul.
I think that will be reviewed, and that's going to be trouble for the Rebels right there.
That may be grounds for disqualification. It appeared to be intentional. Blow to the head.
Caught him in the left eye, it looks like. Here's another look at it. Now watch Hyman, number 5. He grabs the ball coming out of the basket and got the elbow up.
Jordan Geist is a physical player. He'll talk to you on the court, agitates. But Hyman can't make that kind of play in this situation. Latter stages of this game, Missouri struggling to score. I expect the Tigers are going to end up with a couple of foul shots in the basketball after this review.
The call on the floor, I'm told, is a dead ball contact technical. So that's the call that's been made right there. Now they're going to the monitor to see if Hyman deserves more disciplinary action than that. And here's the flagrant 1 versus flagrant 2 foul call. The flagrant 1, excessive or unnecessary contact, not a legitimate play on the ball. Hold or push from behind. So it kind of fits the first 2 definitions of that right there on the flagrant 1. The flagrant 2, which is the automatic ejection, excessive, severe, or extreme live or dead ball contact, extreme, vulgar, or abusive contact. I would think, having just seen that replay, it falls under the constraints of the flag 1.
You can make an argument for either, and I wouldn't fault the officials if they go either way on this, either flagrant 1 or flagrant 2, but the end result will be 2 foul shots for Missouri and the basketball, regardless whether it's called a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2. See this play, Hyman coming up with the basketball, and
for it to be a flagrant 2, it has to be excessive.
Unnecessary, excessive. I wouldn't argue if that were the conclusion drawn by the officials. I think you're right. I think it will be a flagrant 1, but regardless, Missouri an opportunity to take the lead right here.
And again, we saw the replay as you just did. I think it falls within the framework of the flagrant 1 and not the 2. But Patrick Evans and Todd Austin and Rob Rourke, they've had a number of powwows and huddles here today trying to sort things out. But this is a big call right here because Missouri is down only 1.
Well, you can see Jordan Geis kind of grabbing at the basketball. He somewhat instigated that situation and then goes to the deck. A big play by Jordan Geis there. He gets the basket, now getting possession as well.
And for the second time today, the officials call in the coaches. That's Patrick Evans talking to Andy Kennedy on the right and Kim Anderson on the left.
And I'm hearing a little bit of this. It's going to be a delay of game call on Jordan Geis
for grabbing the basketball. That was the voice of Patrick Evans you just heard explaining the call to us here courtside. And so the dead ball technical on Marcanvis Hyman and 2 foul shots here for Missouri. And so Missouri gets to send Van Leer to the line, a chance to give them the lead.
Because it's a technical foul, Geis, who received the contact, doesn't have to shoot the foul shots. Missouri can choose anyone they want to send to the foul line. They go with Van Leer, and he converts, giving the Tigers the lead.
It's the first time they've led in this ball game since they had a 4-2 lead. They've led for just 2 minutes and 28 seconds today, while Ole Miss has led for close to 31 minutes so far. But now the Rebels find themselves down, and not only have the Tigers taken the lead with the free throws, they've got possession of the ball, a potential 6 or 7 point possession here for Missouri.
And the question, does an NCAA tournament team put themselves into this situation, make that kind of play that was just made by Hyman? And does an NCAA tournament team pull a game out like this at home against a struggling Missouri Tiger team?
And right there, Geis trying to do a little bit too much rather than passing the ball up. Traveling call.
Tried to create the space with the step back. Shuffle those feet on that hop. Well, Missouri with the lead.
They go to Saiz. He's doubled. Burnett with 26. Saiz has already hit 1 3 today, and he hits another! Sebastian Saiz with a 3-pointer, and the Rebels up 2.
The senior stepping in with a huge shot when his team needed it most. Sebastian Saiz giving the Rebels that 2-point lead.
Frankie Hughes trying to create, missed the layup. Rebound, Saiz. A big 3 by Sebastian, and then a big rebound.
2 good defensive possessions by the Ole Miss Rebels. A jumper by Saiz on offense. The Rebels trying to seize control of this game once again.
Davis hits the 3-pointer. Well, that will be a 2. A 2, not a 3. 4-point lead for the Rebels. And a timeout called by Missouri.
And awfully impressive by the Ole Miss Rebels. The adversity that they were facing with the technical foul called, Missouri taking the lead with 3 minutes left in the game. Sebastian Saiz got a big rebound, then comes down the court, draining a huge 3-point shot to give the Rebels a 2-point lead. They follow that up with another mid-range jumper. Sebastian Saiz, double figures here in the second half. A couple of big 3-point shots.
And he still may finish with a double-double today. He had 0 points and 0 rebounds in 7 minutes, foul-plagued minutes in the first half. He's come back with 10 points and 7 rebounds here in the second half. And now Missouri, who just a few moments ago grabbed their first lead since the opening minutes, down 4. They have the ball. We're under 2 minutes to play.
And do the Tigers have the heart to keep the fight up, get themselves
Burnett
back?
misses a big 3. Puryear chases it to the corner, and it's last touch by the Tigers.
Are we under 2? We are under 2 minutes, so the officials can and will go to the monitor to review this one. But the ruling on the court is Ole Miss basketball.
And I think that's the right call. I think Puryear touched it last.
Hyman was swiping at it. Left hand got in there. He touched the basketball. I think the home team fortunate that the ruling on the court goes their way. Both players with a hand on the basketball. I thought Hyman's swipe at it actually knocked it out of bounds, but
right over there by Morgan Freeman. He didn't make a play on the ball, though. I thought.
And nor did he try to assist the officials by making a call, pointing the Rebels' way. And he has not wavered. He's had that 11 hat on his head all day long, supporting Sebastian Saiz, and Saiz has come through.
Well, tonight after a full day of college hoops, don't miss SEC Now at 10:30 Eastern. The guys will break it all down and have highlights of every game, including that big Kentucky win over Florida as the Wildcats reclaim first place in the SEC standings. It's all right here on SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. See the
They
call.
turn it around. They go Missouri's way. I thought Hyman took a swipe at the basketball, and the officials ruled that Hyman was the last to touch the basketball. So
No, I think it's going to be Ole Miss's
no,
ball.
all right. Excuse me. The Rebels do retain possession.
And the call stood as it was made on the floor, with Puryear touching the ball last.
And I think there wasn't enough evidence there to overturn that one. So I think regardless which way the ruling went on the court, it was going to stay that way as Ole Miss works on the clock.
8 on the shot clock. Tyree makes his move to the basket. Gets stopped. 4 on the clock. Davis misses the 3, and Saiz touched it last.
Van Leer laying on the court, but reaching up, trying to hold off Saiz from getting the basketball.
And Saiz was screaming that he'd been fouled by Nico, and he might have a point right there. And Andy Kennedy was screaming too. But no whistle on that one, and a 4-point lead for the Rebels. 1:10 to play. Phillips brings it across for Missouri.
Tigers desperately needing a basket on this trip, trying to shake Frankie Hughes loose.
Hughes misses the 3-pointer, and Hughes gets it back. Time winding down. We're under a minute to play. Phillips on the drive with the layup. Terrence Phillips with a big basket, just his 3rd of the day, to cut the Ole Miss lead to 2.
Missouri dropping back on defense. No need to foul here, but they got to come up with a stop.
19-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
Love to see Missouri slide into a zone defense here at the end of this possession, but they're playing man-to-man and going to stick with it through this possession.
Tyree with 8 on the shot clock, buried the jumper. It's a 4-point lead again, and a timeout has been called.
What a play by that freshman, indicating the ice water in his veins. Tyree, the pull-up jumper to give the Rebels a 4-point lead. Driving on Van Leer, creates a little separation with the bump, and able to knock down that 12-footer.
And that's what has Kim Anderson angry right now. Talking to Patrick Evans, he thought that Tyree had used that arm, and it looks like on the replay, there's a little push-off with that left arm to get that separation you were talking about. Just enough space between him and Van Leer to bury what was a big jumper. And Missouri trying to get their first road win since January 28th, 2014. Just An unbelievable road skid for the Tigers as they have dropped 30 straight in the conference and 33 overall, trying to get a win here today, but down 4 now with the ball in 26 seconds to play.
Difficult situation right now for Missouri. Have to attack in a hurry, push that ball up the court, drive it into the lane, try and score at the rim, or kick it out for a three-point shot. Don't have to have a three on this trip, but definitely need points.
So if you're Missouri, where are you going with the ball here? You're taking a 3 or a 2?
I'm giving it to Phillips, letting him drive as far as he can. If he can score at the rim, that's great. If the defense collapses, kick it out, and hopefully it ends up in Hughes' hands for the three-point shot.
Phillips races up the floor. Van Leer curls open for a 3 and hit it! Cullen Van Leer with a huge three-pointer to cut the Ole Miss lead back to 1.
Absolutely massive jumper by Van Leer. So now with that three-point shot going down, Missouri will have this as a one-possession game, regardless of what Ole Miss does. Missouri will try for the steal and then will be forced to foul if Ole Miss gets the ball in bounds. But the Tigers will have an opportunity to tie the game the next time they get the ball if they can get a rebound.
Van Leer with 10 points today, just his second double-figure scoring game in conference play, and a big three-pointer right there. As the Tigers have hit 10 three-pointers today. They hit 11 when they played a month ago in Como, and they're down 1 here to the Rebels with 18 seconds to play. Now, here's what's at stake for Ole Miss. Now, they're no doubt, according to Joey Brackets, Joe Lenardi, the bracketology, they're a long shot to make the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
They're not even in that bubble conversation right now with an RPI of 66. But they have won 7 out of 10, probably the most improved team in the SEC over the last 10 conference games, and a schedule that looks favorable for them to continue winning and maybe get on that bubble.
A game at Alabama and home against South Carolina. Opportunity for a couple of nice wins here in the final week of the regular season, but you can wad that resume up and throw it in the trash if they're not able to come out on top in this game today against the Missouri Tigers.
Okay, Barry, how soon do you foul if you're the Tigers?
Immediately. I'm going to save that clock.
And Burnett had the ball swiped away by KJ Walton, and the bench thought they'd gotten a clean swipe, but Burnett's going to go to the foul line instead.
Oh, KJ Walton was able to poke it away cleanly, but I think there was some contact after he knocked the ball loose. And the officials calling that.
So Burnett at the line. 26 points for Burnett. He's 11 of 12 at the foul line today.
We'll see if he feels guilty.
Nope.
Just a little. He touched rim. Or whether it's a make or a miss, one possession game after this foul shot. Missouri Tigers have fought to the end and given themselves a chance here in Oxford.
Burnett has hit 57 of his last 61 free throw attempts. He's not going to miss in this situation. Tigers need a 3 to tie.
Too early to foul.
Phillips takes the 3 and off the front iron. Purrier out to Hughes, open look, misses. Battle for the rebound underneath the Rebels' hat. And that's going to do it. And Ole Miss has survived the upset bid by Missouri and win their 8th in their last 11 conference games to improve to 18-11 overall and 9-7 in the conference.
Much more difficult test than Ole Miss expected it to be, but the Rebels fight through some adversity, some big plays from Sebastian Saiz and DeAndre Burnett at the end of this game. The Rebels able to hold on for the win.
And the Tigers had 2 pretty good looks, and Hughes had a good look. He had been the hot hand today with 22, just couldn't bury it. And there's Saiz, who did not have a rebound in the first half, but ended up with a solid 8 boards today. So 80-77 the final as Ole Miss beats Missouri. Going to send it back to our SEC Network studios in Darinoka.
All right.